Have you ever looked into the eyes of a woman who once adored you and seen nothing but cold distance? No hatred, no anger, just indifference. And somehow, that hurts more. You can feel it. She's not angry anymore because she doesn't care anymore. Somewhere along the way, the spark died. The admiration faded. The desire turned to duty. And now you're a stranger in the same room. How does that even happen? And more importantly, can you bring it back? The truth is, a woman doesn't just wake up one day and lose respect for the man she once loved. It's not a switch. It's a slow erosion. A death by 1,000 small betrayals, some hers, many yours. But if you're willing to face that, to take responsibility, and rise from it, you can do something extraordinary. You can become a man who commands not just her attention, but her admiration again. This isn't about manipulation. It's about resurrection. And it begins with one ancient principle. Control thyself, or be controlled by all else. This video is more than just 9 tricks. It's a philosophical journey. A Stoic guide to reclaiming the essence of masculine strength, clarity, and composure. If you watch till the end, it might not only change your relationship, it may just change the man you become in the process. Let's begin. The fall from grace. Before we can talk about how to regain her desire and respect, we have to talk about why you lost it. There's a story of a man named Theo. He met Claire in his late 20s, sharp mind, kind eyes, full of dreams. She admired his ambition. He was going to build something great. He talked about vision, discipline, leaving a mark on the world. She saw in him a mountain, a man unshaken by the world, a force. But over time, that mountain crumbled. He stopped waking early. He complained more. He let his body go. He began explaining himself too much, apologizing constantly, asking her what to do next. Claire didn't leave immediately. She didn't shout. She just withdrew. Respect died first, then desire, then love. This is the story of many men, and it can be reversed, but only if you understand this truth. Women don't respect men who don't respect themselves, and desire cannot survive without respect. Now let's talk about how to reclaim it. Trick 1. Become a man of action, not reaction. The first step is one Marcus Aurelius would call, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. You've probably noticed when a woman loses respect, she starts testing you, questioning your choices, challenging your mood. She becomes colder, sometimes even cruel. And what do most men do? They react, they beg, they get emotional. They try to explain themselves endlessly, but that only pushes her further. What she's really testing is this. Can you remain unmoved in chaos? A woman desires a man who leads himself before leading anyone else. Not through control or dominance, but through inner peace, stability, stoic fire. Reacting emotionally makes you appear lost in her storms, but acting deliberately, even in silence, commands presence. Let her words storm. Let her tone shift. Let her challenge. Do not flinch. The man who can respond slowly and act intentionally is the man she cannot stop thinking about. Because deep down, all she really wants is this: a man who cannot be shaken. Trick 2. Stop explaining yourself. There's a peculiar weakness that grows in many relationships. You start explaining every move you make, every emotion you feel, every text you didn't send. And over time, she stops seeing a man and starts seeing a boy seeking approval. The Stoics had a principle. Never tie your self-worth to the opinions of others, not even those you love. You don't need to justify your every step. You don't need to defend your schedule. You don't need to seek permission to be who you are. You are either a man who walks his path boldly, or one who waits for her to approve every step. She may act like she wants to control you, but the truth is, she desires a man she cannot fully predict, a man who operates from principle, not permission. If she questions your direction, smile and carry on. When she asks why you're quiet, simply say, "I'm thinking." No apologies. No self-defense. Just clarity. Men who constantly explain themselves are trying to win comfort. Men who move with quiet confidence win respect. Trick 3. Fill your life with meaning outside of her. You were not born to orbit her. That doesn't mean you shouldn't love her deeply. But that love must never become dependency. Most men lose their edge the moment they fall in love. They drop their habits. They cancel on the gym. They abandon purpose. And when she becomes your center, she begins to spin away from you. It's paradoxical. The less you revolve around her, the more she desires your gravity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, If you work at that which is before you, following right reason seriously, vigorously, calmly, you will live a good life. What's before you? Is it a craft? A business? A purpose? A book unwritten? A body untamed? Pursue it. When you live a life that would be meaningful even if she disappeared tomorrow, you become a man she never wants to walk away from, because now she sees something rare, a man who belongs to himself. Ooh. Trick 4. Let your silence speak. There's power in restraint. When things get tense, the average man talks too much. He overcommunicates. He explains every thought. He becomes verbose and emotional. But the Stoic man, he learns the power of silence. Why? Because silence makes her wonder. Silence commands space. It draws her toward your mystery again. There is a line in Stoicism that says, "Say little, and when you do, let it be worth hearing." When she pushes, do not chase. When she tests, do not tremble. When she's distant, do not beg. Be calm, be silent, be present. You don't regain respect by forcing her to hear you. You regain it by becoming a man worth leaning toward again. Ooh. Trick 5. Resurrect your edge. You had it once. The edge, the fire. The danger of not being fully tamed. That's what drew her in. But maybe you softened. Grew complacent. Became too available, too predictable, too emotional. The Stoics weren't cold-hearted, but they were razor-sharp. They believed in voluntary hardship, in choosing discomfort to remain sharp. Ask yourself, when was the last time you pushed yourself to a physical limit? When did you last conquer something painful alone? When did you last say no, not to her, but to your own comfort? The man who disciplines himself daily is the man who becomes formidable again. Women desire a man who's not just emotionally available, but emotionally and physically powerful. She doesn't want perfection. She wants the man who once made her feel like he could walk through fire. Reignite that. Not for her approval, but for your honor. You remember, the man who once inspired his woman, and then became invisible to her. After months of emotional chaos, he made a decision. No more chasing. No more over-explaining. No more asking, what did I do wrong? He stopped reacting. He started becoming. His transformation wasn't loud. He didn't post about it. He didn't tell her about it. He just showed up differently. And everything began to shift. Here's what he did next. Ooh. Trick 6. Become unpredictable again. Desire lives in mystery. Respect grows in uncertainty. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is becoming routine. Not just with schedules, but with behavior, responses, energy. She knows exactly what you'll say, how you'll react, what you'll do next, and that kills attraction. It's not about playing games. It's about rekindling the sense that you are not fully conquered, that there are depths of you she hasn't yet reached. The Stoics practiced unpredictability in their own way. Seneca, for instance, would deliberately sleep on the floor, some nights even as a wealthy man, just to remind himself, I can choose discomfort. I am not owned by luxury. That unpredictability was a signal even to himself that he remained dangerous, free, untamed. How can you do the same? Take a weekend alone, unannounced, and go hike a mountain. Book a course, start a new skill, join a fight gym. Speak differently. Dress sharper. Walk with new pace. Not to impress her, but to remind yourself that you are ever evolving. When she can no longer predict you, she starts watching you again. Not to control you, but to understand you. And that brings back the chase. Ooh. Trick 7. Own your space. There's a kind of quiet authority some men carry that cannot be faked. You've seen it in rooms before. Some men walk in and the atmosphere shifts. They don't speak loudly. They don't demand attention. But they own the space around them. Why? Because they are rooted, grounded. Their presence is not scattered. Their mind isn't racing. They're not seeking approval or validation. This is energetic sovereignty. And it's magnetic. Theo learned this slowly. He stopped leaning in too much when he spoke to Claire. He held his frame. He let silences exist. He stopped filling every moment with apology or performance. He sat in the discomfort of tension and didn't try to fix it. And something unexpected happened. Claire started leaning into him again. She started asking questions, seeking closeness. Because women don't chase noise. They chase depth. You don't need to dominate her. You just need to own the moment. With calm, still grounded masculinity, practice this in silence. In how you breathe, in how you listen, and she'll feel it without a word. Ooh. Trick 8. Tame your neediness through discipline. One of the deepest destroyers of respect and desire is neediness. Not just emotional neediness, but spiritual. The sense that you need her to validate you, to complete you, to tell you who you are. And neediness is not cured by more love, it is cured by more self-conquest. Marcus Aurelius, at the height of power, wrote this to himself in his journal. Be like the rock against which the waves crash. It stands firm, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. A woman cannot respect a man whose emotions are dictated by her mood. And she cannot desire a man who needs her presence to feel whole. This is why discipline matters. Every cold plunge you take in the morning, every early workout you finish despite fatigue, every book you read instead of scrolling, every dollar you save instead of wasting, is a message to your soul. I do not need comfort, I conquer myself. That man is magnetic. Because he isn't chasing her energy, he radiates his own. Neediness disappears the moment you become the man you admire, and from that place she will feel something unfamiliar. Longing. Ooh. Trick 9. Master the art of disappearing with dignity. This may be the hardest of all. But sometimes, the final move is to leave the arena. Not with bitterness, not with drama, but with silence, clarity, and calm. When a woman has lost all respect for you, when she mocks, controls, or disrespects you continuously without reflection, it may be time to walk away. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the only thing that restores her respect is your absence, not as a tactic, but as a natural conclusion of your evolution. You're no longer the man who tolerates disrespect. You're no longer the man who begs, pleads, or explains. You have become the man who can leave with dignity. And when that happens, when she no longer has control over your emotions or your presence, one of two things will happen. 1, she will panic, reflect, and return to you differently. 2, or you'll discover you never needed her to become who you were becoming anyway. Both outcomes are victory. Remember, the Stoic does not cling. He loves deeply but lets go freely. And that's what makes him unforgettable. Ooh, the transformation. So what happened to Theo? He didn't chase Claire. He didn't beg. He became the man he was meant to be all along. He trained, he worked. He woke up early. He walked in silence. He smiled with edge. He let her wonder. And one day Claire asked him, "What changed?" And he looked at her calmly and said, "I remembered who I was." She stared at him, not with fear, not with guilt, but with desire. Because desire is not about chemistry, it's about polarity. And polarity is created when the man stands rooted in his truth, without leaning into hers. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.